Route to the light winner.
Back outside, and fam, he definitely didn't return quietly. Y'all heard that line, you with the other side. I don't with y'all. None of that. Some people gonna brush it off like that's just Glock talking reckless again. Just regular tough talk. But if you really know the history, and I mean the deep-rooted history between PRE and CMG, then you already know every word coming out this man's mouth right now got weight on it. Like, nah, bro didn't just drop bars. He dropped a warning shot. And here's what the mainstream rap world completely missed, while everybody was distracted by other rap beefs, internet drama, and viral nonsense. Memphis never cooled down, fam. The war between Paper Route Empire and Collective Music Group never actually stopped. It just moved in silence. Bodies dropped, courtrooms filled up, and through all that chaos, one man disappeared into the shadows, rebuilt himself, and came back moving with the coldest energy of his career. That man is Key Glock. And Glocki fam. That's not just an album title. That's a statement. Today we're breaking down every layer of it. We're gonna explain why Glock's return has the entire Memphis rap scene shaking again, and why the deadly PRE versus CMG war, the same one tied to Dolph's death, suddenly feels active all over again. Buckle up, because this story runs deep. Let's take it back from the start. It's 2014. Young Dolph is blowing up. South Memphis born, independent-minded to the core. He's building something real with Paper Route Empire. Then, Yo Gotti enters the picture. Memphis King at the time. CMG boss, signed with Interscope Records. Gotti sees Dolph's talent, sees the street respect, and wants him under the CMG umbrella. But this is where everything changed. This is the exact moment the whole situation turned toxic. Dolph said no, straight up, no cap. And that one decision created a domino effect people are still paying for today. Dolph never wanted to work under another man's umbrella. That independent mindset was everything to him. I'm my own boss. That was his whole identity. Prosecutors would later reveal during court proceedings that Dolph allegedly turned down a potential $22 million CMG deal. $22 million, and he still walked away. Now, to some people, that's just business. You don't like the deal, you move on. But in Memphis, with those circles and those egos involved, rejecting Gotti allegedly became personal fast. According to statements made by prosecutors during the Young Dolph murder trial, and yeah, we gotta keep bringing up that trial because it exposed a lot behind the curtain, CMG figures allegedly led by Anthony Big Jook Mims didn't simply let it go. Prosecutors claimed they made it their mission to pressure Dolph at every turn. After that came years of violent incidents prosecutors linked back to the feud. Shots fired at Dolph's vehicle in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dolph responding with tracks like 100 Shots, a platinum hit inspired by surviving an ambush, diss songs, internet tension, escalation after escalation. And Key Glock was watching all of it from right beside Dolph, the man he called family, mentor, brother. He was right there in the trenches. This wasn't just label beef for Glock. This was personal. And honestly, that's only part of the story. A lot of people overlook the fact that Glock had his own issues with CMG-affiliated artists completely separate from Dolph's direct problems with Gotti. While Dolph was handling the bigger war, Glock had his own smoke brewing online and in the streets. Glock and CMG affiliate Lil Migo were publicly going at each other heavy. Subliminals, internet shots, disrespect back and forth, all of it. And Glock never backed down. Not even slightly. He stayed 10 toes down the whole time. And this wasn't just rap cap either. Glock already had an aggravated assault charge back in March 2016 connected to a shooting incident at an ice bar and grill in Memphis, where 3 people were reportedly hit by shrapnel. Glock got arrested and served 90 days. So understand something here. This wasn't somebody pretending to live that lifestyle in records. He was really outside. Then, while all that tension was still active, Glock also had issues with CMG's Black Youngsta. 2 Memphis stars from opposite camps, and the energy between them was real. Now, here's the interesting part. Glock never fully inserted himself publicly into the direct Dolph versus Gotti war. He let Dolph handle that front line, But everybody in Memphis already knew where Glock stood. If you ride with PRE, you automatically become a target for the other side. Period. Fast forward to 2021. Dolph and Glock are dominating. Dumb and Dumber 2 drops and the duo levels up completely. Glock's Yellow Tape 2 hits number 7 on the Billboard 200. PRE is winning across the board. Everything is clicking.
Then November 17th, 2021 happens. Makeda's Cookies on Airways Boulevard, South Memphis. Young Dolph loses his life. And fam, people gotta understand what that moment really meant for Key Glock. This wasn't just losing another rapper. Dolph was the foundation, the architect. The reason Glock even had a platform and structure in the music business. In one afternoon, everything changed forever. That's when the PRE versus CMG situation stopped feeling like rap drama and turned into something much heavier. Something that would keep unfolding through courtrooms, music, and street tension for years. Now this next part changed everything. September 2024. Justin "A Straight Droppa" Johnson goes on trial connected to Dolph's death case. 4 days in court and prosecutors laid out claims that shook the entire rap world. According to Deputy District Attorney Paul Hagerman, Dolph was trying to build an independent empire for his artists, his family, and South Memphis, while prosecutors claimed certain rivals allegedly disliked watching him succeed outside their system. Prosecutors also stated that Big Jook allegedly placed large financial incentives connected to the case. And according to testimony from cooperating witness Cornelius Smith, prosecutors alleged there were separate reported threats connected to PRE artists too. Key Glock allegedly had serious safety concerns surrounding his name. Pre-paper route Wu allegedly had reported threats surrounding him. Snoop Bands allegedly had reported pressure surrounding his name. Moochie Grape allegedly had reported concerns connected to him as well. Just sit with that for a second. While Glock was touring, performing, making hits, there were reportedly serious concerns surrounding his safety, and Glock knew it. The streets knew it. Social media exploded once those alleged court details started circulating online. Fans online started expressing concern for Key Glock's safety. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This was survival mode. Then came the FaceTime detail prosecutors revealed that had everybody stunned. According to the prosecution, right after Dolph's death, Justin Johnson allegedly FaceTimed Big Jook. Prosecutors argued investigators recovered evidence tied to deleted calls. They described it as communication connected before, during, and after the incident timeline. September 26, 2024, guilty verdict. Johnson convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and firearm possession charges. Life sentence, no parole. Jury deliberated less than 4 hours. But even after the conviction, the questions didn't stop because Big Jook himself had already lost his life earlier that same year. January 13, 2024, reportedly shot multiple times near a Memphis restaurant on Winchester Road while attending a repast gathering after a funeral. Investigators reportedly believed a dark Ford Explorer was involved. No arrests had been announced at the time. The streets instantly started creating their own theories. Memphis tension just kept escalating in circles. Then came the August 2025 trial for Hernandez Govan, the man accused of alleged involvement in organizing the situation on behalf of Big Jook. Despite testimony from Cornelius Smith claiming Govan helped arrange everything, the jury acquitted him. Not guilty, he walked out free. But here's the part most people overlooked when all the trial coverage took over headlines. While all this chaos was happening, Key Glock basically disappeared quietly. No dramatic announcement, no retirement speech. He just stepped away from music, from social media, from the spotlight. Fans started asking where he went and whether he was okay. In a Billboard interview before Glocki dropped, Glock admitted he stopped caring about music for a while after everything that happened. Losing Dolph, the trauma, the pressure, he needed space to fix his mindset and personal life. He completely stepped away from the world for a minute. And honestly, when you understand the context, allegedly dealing with serious pressure, watching Dolph lose his life, sitting through court revelations, his silence suddenly makes perfect sense. This man wasn't only grieving. He was processing the reality that he also needed to protect his peace and safety. But this is where things get cold. Glock admitted that even during his darkest period, he never stopped recording music. He just wasn't releasing it. And according to him, all the music coming out of that period sounded like a much stronger version of himself than ever before. That's when Glocki started taking Like Glock explained himself, the Machiavelli inspiration represented rebirth and transformation, a whole new version of him, and the Tupac parallels are hard to ignore. Tupac Shakur survived. Violence came back harder musically and got consumed by an unresolved war. Glock's path carries echoes of that same energy. He survived a war, lost his mentor, allegedly had a price on his head, disappeared, then returned stronger than ever. And on the title track, the first thing people hear is a Mr. Glock, the president, not grieving Glock, not broken Glock, President Glock, leader mode, running pre, now letting people know exactly where he stands without directly naming anybody. That line, "You with the other side, I don't with y'all," hits completely different once you understand the full story behind it. It's not random talk. It sounds like a declaration that PRE vs. CMG is still active in spirit going into 2020-25. And let's talk about how massive this comeback actually was, because the mainstream media seriously downplayed it. May 2nd, 2025, Glock drops. Glocki through Paper Route Empire and Republic Records after signing a new major deal in March 2025. 18 tracks, no features, pure solo Glock. The response was immediate. Top 10 Billboard 200 debut, number 2 on rap charts, top 5 on R&B hip-hop charts, number 1 on Apple Music across all genres the day it released. Not just rap, everything that's bigger than charts, fam. That's the culture telling Glock they never stopped rocking with him. Then they used a gang. No. Lama during the Cowboy Carter tour in front of packed stadiums worldwide. Think about that level of validation. That's legacy level co-signing. Glock also earned 2 BET Award nominations in 2025, including Best Male Hip Hop Artist and Video of the Year for A 3 AM in Tokyo. He sold out Red Rocks Amphitheater twice with over 10,000 fans showing up. The Glocki tour expanded nationwide through Live Nation Entertainment with stops in Houston, Chicago, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and more. This isn't the same regional Memphis rapper people saw back in 2017. Glock is a full superstar now, but here's what keeps bringing the CMG angle back into the conversation. Despite billions of streams, platinum records, sold-out tours, and major success, Key Glock has never collaborated with a single CMG artist, not one in today's rap world, where people squash beef for money all the time. Glock never folded on that line. Fans asked him online about doing music with CMG artists, and he basically laughed it off with a gif, and throughout every interview around Glocki, the message stayed consistent. He doesn't trust the other side. He cut off people who showed questionable loyalty, even on the album itself. He says, up to a couple, it's crazy how they fanned out before repeating the same cold message again and again. You with the other side, I don't with y'all. This is a man who watched his mentor get murdered in a feud, allegedly had a bounty placed on his own head, then sat through a trial that exposed layers of conspiracy around Dolph's death, and after all that, he still came back, making it crystal clear there's still no peace with the other side. The war never truly ended. It just evolved. Now Glock is battling with chart numbers and sold out arenas instead of just street reputation. That's the difference. You know, that's the evolution, and honestly, that's what makes Key Glock way bigger than just another rapper, fam. Let's zoom out for a second, because what we're seeing from Key Glock in 2025 goes way beyond one album run or a couple Billboard placements. We're witnessing one of the biggest post-trauma comebacks Memphis hip-hop has ever seen, and that's not an exaggeration. Think about everything this man had to survive. He lost his cousin, his mentor, his label boss, the person who literally helped build his career to a murder prosecutors alleged was connected to people with money, influence, and ties to political a rival music empire. On top of that, there was allegedly a bounty on Glock's own head. Then he had to sit back and watch the entire murder trial unfold publicly while the internet dissected every detail of Dolph's death in real time. And through all of that, Glock never publicly crashed out, never spiraled, never made reckless moves that could have ruined his future. Instead, he disappeared, got himself mentally right, and came back smarter and colder than ever. Major label deal, no features, no compromises, no fake peace with the other side, just pure pre-energy, elevated to its highest commercial level. Yet now here's the real reason this whole situation reignites. The CMG versus pre-conversation in 2025 collective music group is still active. Yo Gotti is still one of the biggest figures in Memphis rap. Moneybag Yo remains one of the hottest names in hip-hop overall. CM Business Machine is still moving. So when Glock returns to the top of the charts with an album packed with other side energy woven all through it, people connected to that camp are obviously gonna notice. And here's the uncomfortable part. Nobody really wants to say out loud the trial was supposed to give some type of closure. Justin Johnson got life in prison, but Hernandez Govan walked free. Anthony Big Jook Mims is dead, and that alleged $50,000 bounty tied to Glock. Questions still hang over all of that. Who allegedly authorized it? Who knew? Did those tensions ever really disappear? The streets don't magically forget because a courtroom reaches a verdict and Glock clearly understands that you can hear it throughout Glocki, that line. I looked up to a couple. It's crazy how they fanned out. Feels deeper when you really think about it. It could apply to anybody, maybe people connected to CMG, maybe mutual associates who played both sides. Glock never directly says names, but he makes sure the people involved understand exactly who the message is for, and honestly, that's where the Machiavelli influence gets really heavy. Tupac Shakur spent his later music speaking in coded language, dropping layered messages hinting at betrayals and enemies without directly spelling everything out. Glock's moving similarly. He's not sitting in interviews accusing people. He's not running to podcasts naming names. He's putting everything in the music, the visuals, the symbolism, the album title, the Tupac references, the thorn crown imagery, the idea of a man who got hurt, survived it, disappeared, and returned stronger. The streets picked up on every layer of that rollout immediately. But there's another angle here people really aren't discussing enough. After Dolph passed away, Paper Route Empire needed leadership. It needed a face for a while. It honestly looked like there was a vacuum artist like Jay Fizzle and Kenny Money kept the movement alive, but none of them had reached Dolph's mainstream crossover level. Then Glock started leveling up first with a Let's Go from Glaucoma 2 in 2023, which quietly exploded into a TikTok anthem and cracked the Billboard Hot 100. Then came sold-out Red Rock shows. Then the Republic Records deal, then Glocki. At that point, it became obvious. Glock wasn't just the biggest surviving pre-artist, he became one of the biggest rappers in the game overall. Over 8 billion streams, Rolling Stone naming him among rap's future innovators. Music placements in franchises like Fast and Furious and Madden, NFL, Beyonce, using his music in stadium tours. Bet nominations, nationwide touring with Live Nation Entertainment. This man is operating at a level Dolph rest in peace to the king only started reaching before his life was cut short, and that matters when you talk about the Pre versus CMG story, because let's be honest for a second, despite all the allegations and courtroom drama, CMG still carries massive industry power. Yo, Gotti is still active. Moneybag, yo, keeps putting up major commercial numbers, and for a moment people really wondered whether Pre would slowly fade away without Dolph. Key Glock completely destroyed that narrative in 2025. Pre didn't disappear. Pre evolved, and Glock reminds people of that every single time he walks onto a stage in front of thousands of screaming fans. Every chart placement, every bet nomination, every sold-out arena, that's Glock sending a message on behalf of Dolph, Pre, and South Memphis. Oh, we're still here, we're still winning, and we haven't forgotten anything that's bigger than music at this point. That's strategies. Let's bring this entire story full circle, because the timeline is crazy when you really lay it out. Young Dolph rejects CMG, the war allegedly begins, diss tracks, violent incidents, street tension, escalating. Key Glock rises right in the middle of all of it. As Dolph's cousin, artist, and ally, November 17, 2021, Dolph is murdered at Memphis. Cookies prosecutors later allege a $100,000 bounty connected to Big Jook and an alleged $50,000 price tied to Glock's head. January 2024, Big Jook is killed himself. September 2024, Justin straight drop. Johnson is convicted and sentenced to life. August 2025, Hernandez Govan is acquitted, and through all of that chaos, Key Glock disappears, rebuilds himself, and returns with Glocki, a top 10 Billboard album backed by Beyonce cosigns and lyrics like You at the Other Side, I Don't with Y'all, an album inspired by the same Machiavelli-style concept he and Dolph reported discussed together before Dolph's. No features, no fake alliances, no middle ground, just Glock, pure Memphis energy at the highest level of success the label has ever seen. And here's the biggest takeaway from all this: Key Glock's comeback isn't just another rap success story. It feels like the continuation of a conflict that never truly ended in Memphis hip-hop. Especially situations like this don't just disappear because court cases close. Loyalty stays alive, grief stays alive, history stays alive. And with every lyric, every sold-out show, every chart placement, Glock keeps sending the same message loud and clear. The other side didn't win. Pre is still standing, and the general came back stronger now. Whether that energy spills beyond music again, that's something only people deeply connected to those streets can really speak on. But one thing is obvious: Glocki is not a neutral album. It feels like a flag planted directly in enemy territory, and that flag says, "Long live Dolph, long life Pre." And if you're on the other side, you already know what time it is. No cap, fam, if this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening inside Memphis hip-hop right now. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts below. Do y'all think Glocki was throwing subliminal shots at CMG, or do you think Glock is only focused on success and legacy at this point? And for the real ones, the full breakdown of how the CMG versus pre-war allegedly started every diss, every incident, every twist in between is coming next. Turn notifications on because you do not want to miss that one. Stay safe, stay tapped, and long live Dolph.